Hello and welcome along to the Bunch of Punts Betting Podcast, your specialist show for football long shot bets. We'll be covering Leg 1, EFL, so Championship, League 1, League 2 playoffs. We've also got the usual Premier League slay, and we've got lots and lots of long shots. A Yankee card, will it be 4 players, 3,500 to 1. I've also done a lucky 63. No first goal scorer for the playoff first legs. A few more hackers involving a lack of goals. So there's plenty to go at for this weekend. Let's get into it. Joining me as ever, Matthew O'Regan. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to see you again after yesterday's pod. Can't get enough of it at the moment, can we?
No, it seems like it's getting more and more football. I thought with it finishing out, with the EFL finishing, we'd get a bit of a rest, but it's getting more football and we love it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I'm getting a bit burned out from it, so I can't. I'm sort of excited for the season to end, just for a little break. But I know after a week I'm going to be buzzing for it back. I just need a week off because it's so hectic at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be like 3-4 days of doing nothing, and then I'll start trolling Twitter, checking who everyone's signing, who's the bet for the next season. Another Luton, Rotherham, MK Dons get found in the first few weeks of June.
Not touching them three ever again.
This will not be beaten. 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 It's going to get beaten.
Right, so we've got a bit of a mishmash of bets because obviously the playoffs is running alongside the usual Premier League weekend. So I think the best way to do it is chronologically. I've done some real daft hackers in the end, but I'll save that for the long shot section. So I think first up will be Sheffield United game tonight, Bristol City away. I'm setting off actually in a few hours for that. Can't wait. But there's just a bet that I really liked. It's not mine. Well, I didn't find it. It's Tom Conduff on Sporting Life. He's gone for Peck anytime. And surprisingly, he's gone Peck to score 2 as well. They're now 10 to 1 Sky Bet and 200 to 1 Betfair and Paddy Power. I've had half a point on Peck anytime. And I've had like 0.1 of a point of him to score a brace. Because this is a player who hasn't scored this season. And we're backing him to score. Yikes. In a game where I can't actually see there being many goals. But I was at the Blackburn game, last game of the season, and he had a couple of decent chances. I think he had 2 shots that afternoon and one deflected, almost went in. But as Tom Conduff points out on the article on Sporting Life, he's been like shooting a lot and playing alongside Vinny Souza in a 2, especially if Hamer's playing. He's not a deep line midfielder at all. Vinny Souza does that. He's got more license to attack, and it's a surprise that he hadn't converted one of his shots recently into goals because a lot of them are on target and they're usually decent efforts. And it's not like they're just pot shots from range. The majority are coming from within the 18-yard box. So in these last 8 starts, it's 21 shots, 13 inside the box, and how many on target? 1, 2, 3, 4, and about 8 on target, I think. So yeah, backing him to break his duck for the season away at Bristol City is the bet, and at 200 to 1 backing him to score twice.
He's drifted out to 12s for one goal. I've literally just backed it now as you're speaking.
Nice. Where's that?
Sky, because I literally backed his shots yesterday. I'm not going to tip a prop with Sky on the podcast, but if you do have Sky and if you've got Sky, his shots, 2 shots are 3s. I'm not going to tip it officially, but with the bet builder trick as well, you get it high. So yeah, and I can't find where you back brace on Sky. I don't use it enough, but
Thank you. Well, not thank me. Thank Tom Conduff. He's the one. That's his bet. No credit for me at all. But I'm not gonna tip something I'm backing if the price is big enough. I don't mind giving the right person the credit. Yeah. So I'm not gonna not say good bets just because they're not mine. I think that's a cracking price. Right. Next logical step. Friday night championship, the other playoff, Sunderland v Coventry at Coventry. What have you got for this one?
yeah. So before off air, I was saying about how certain games in the playoffs, like you'll see some games later as well. Some have absolutely beautiful prices, whereas others have minging. I thought the Sheffield United game was absolutely awful for like prop bets. Same with Wimbledon, Notts County. But this game was one where for CBK, I've tipped a few ones like non-long shot ones, like 1.8 even bets. So this game was just teeming with it. So I've just tipped a couple higher bets for this one. So the first one I've gone for is Ellis Sims to make 2+ fouls at 6. He's not a serial fouler, but something about him he just feels like he should make fouls, if you know what I mean. He's big, strong, quick. He's a nuisance. And with Super Sub, this bet has landed in the last 3. He'll probably get about 65, 70 minutes, and then Thomas Asante will come on and cause chaos. So, yeah, it's an angle I really like. 10 of the last 13 strikers to play against Sunderland have made 2+ fouls. Because you've got 09 and Mepham, who win fouls quite well. And it wouldn't surprise me to see some of the midfielders drop in and win fouls. Sims go back to chase and win a couple. So, yeah, Sims 2 fouls at 6 is my first. And then I've gone, don't know how to pronounce his name, Milan van Ewijk. No idea. The Dutch right back for Coventry. 3 tackles and 2 fouls is 5s. He's made at least 3 tackles in 3 of his last 4. He's got a good tackle average. He's about 1 per game, I think. But the main point is he's against Lefy. Jimmy Dunn was at right back for QPR against Lefy on the final day, made 7 tackles. Lefy's dispossessed 1.44 times per 90. And I think if Sunderland are going to take it to Coventry, I think a lot of the action will go down Lefy's side. So it wouldn't be surprising me to see Coventry right back rack up a load of tackles and fouls. He's fouled 1.62 times per 90, so it's a really nice matchup that, and I can see especially first leg Cov. I can see Cov trying to keep it tight and targeting the fee, so it's a nice angle to have. So Van Ewijk, 3 tackles, 2 fouls at 5s.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, I was looking at same play, a different bet. I decided to leave it in the end, but Enzo Lefy, goal or assist, I think 5-2 or 365. He's not played near as much as you would have wanted him to with the, what is it, 20 million if they go up, they have to pay. But he was dubbed when they signed him like the greatest player. He's going to be the greatest championship signing ever. But obviously it just hasn't worked out. League One in it, Leyton Orient v Stockport. And I think we mentioned it on the playoff preview, the outright preview we did yesterday. That's on Spotify and YouTube if you haven't. I really struggle with the playoff first legs to find bets that I really, really like. And to be honest, I was looking at the unders, 1.5 goal in this game, just given the recent history of playoffs that I'll get on to in a minute. But Stockport playing away in the second leg, really good defensive record, really good record at home. I think they'd be happy to take even a 1-0 loss, just keep things tight. And how nervy and cagey playoffs are with so much on the line, I just think goals are so rare, and the recent history paints that. So to directly contradict that, you can get Stockport to win from behind. We'll need at least 3 goals, but it's at 18-1. It's landed in all 4 of their last wins. And even though my point about all the lack of goals was, even if they are losing 1-0, they don't need to win, so that's why you're getting such a big price. But given how they've been playing recently and this sort of like never say die attitude, if they smell blood, say if they do concede, I'm getting really specific, but if they do concede early and there's a wobble that Leyton Orient have and they smell blood, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they can just kick on and take a league back into the second leg. Sort of like they did finish a long way apart, these two teams. So even though it is dressed up as a big, massive playoff game, Stockport, if they can just put all that to one side, they are a comfortably better side. So, and as I said, they're joint second top goal scorers in League One, 72 goals each. So, but it might book the trend of a lack of goals this playoff game. It might, but I really don't know how to call it. I just thought 18-1, half a point, interesting price. With Bet Victor, what have you got for this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I don't know about goals, but I just think it's going to be a really good watch. It's the game I'm most excited for. I don't think I can watch it unless I can find a pub in Wolverhampton that shows it. But yeah, it's just a game I'm really excited for. And I found a couple good bets for this involving fouls because they've priced up League One and League Two for fouls as well. So the first one I've gone for Omar Beckles 2+ fouls at 3.5. He's landed 4 of his last 5 games, and he's against Wootton and Olife, who Stockport go 2 up top, wing backs potentially. So there should be plenty of action into the strikers, and I can see it being quite a good battle. I don't think Stockport will have most possession. Leyton Orient will. So Stockport may be forced to go long with Wootton against Beckles as a good battle. So yeah, Beckles 2 fouls at 3.5, and sticking on that theme, I've done Wootton and Beckles 2 fouls each at 6. But in his single 1.8 for 2 fouls, which I'm going to tip later for CBK. I just think it's a wonderful price on its own. He's made 2+ fouls in 8 of his last 9, and last time they met, So last time these two sides met in the league, Beccles didn't play, but Wootton made 5 fouls. And then last time they played, the first time they played in the league, both played. Beccles made 2 fouls, Wootton made 4. So they've got a history of each other in terms of they're just both players that aren't afraid to get stuck in, and I can see a real battle between them. So 2 fouls each at 6s for Wootton and Beccles.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, you are going to be making the most of the props available for the EFL on this show. That's for sure. I'm just looking then. Next game I've got a bet for is County Wimbledon. I think that kicks off at 8 on Saturday, so it would make sense. Go through the Prem 3 o'clock as you've got.
Yeah, I've got the early kickoff as well, the Prem.
Well,
I've got one. Yeah, I've got one for 3 p.m. and one for the early kickoff. Fulham Everton. For regular listeners, this angle has been a regular last couple of weeks, and it's Bassi 2+ fouls at 5s. It won for us last week, and I'm going again. Landed 4 times out of the last 5. Bassi's a very aggressive centre back and is against Beto, so it should be a really good battle. I watch Beto a lot, and time Everton are on, I just like to watch him. He likes to just grapple with the centre back. Him and Colwell, when we won the bet on Colwell against Everton, Colwell just loves Colwell, like Beto would pin him and sort of try to spin him and win a foul from a shirt tug, and Bassi, that's exactly how Bassi plays. So I think it's a perfect matchup. And Colwell made 3 fouls against Beto in that game, and I'm expecting similar from Bassi. So 2 fouls at 5s, and then Beto card at 8.5. I'm not going to let this angle die. It's one of them. The minute I don't back it, it wins. So I'm just sticking with it, just pissing money up the wall, it seems. But it's going to come in one day. So he's still got bad card record, but I'm harbouring hopes he gets booked. He's up against Bassi, obviously, who draws good fouls, and Beto's making 1.75 fouls per 90. Obviously, loads of them will be silly little fouls that won't get totted up. But I just think the way Bassi plays, the way Beto plays, it doesn't take a lot for there to be a flashpoint, and that's what I'm banking on. Or Beto leaving one in, because Bassi likes to drive out of defence with the ball. He's very, very good on the ball. Just all it takes is a little cynical trip from Beto or something. I just think for Beto, it's a perfect matchup, and it just won't take a lot for it to flashpoint. So I've gone Beto card at 8.5, and then with that in mind, half a point on Beto Bassi card at 4, both with Betfair.
lovely stuff. What's next on the Premier League schedule?
Oh yeah, so Wolves Brighton 3 p.m. game I'm going to. I've gone Totti Gomez card at 5.5. Foul record's not the best. He seems to be booked for his first fouls in games, really, which indicates he's quite a cynical player. 0.23 yellows per 90, again, not brilliant. But I was looking into it, and we played against 10 different back threes this season, and a centre back has been booked against us in 9 out of 10 games in this system, with the exception that where we won 4-0 at Southampton, where Southampton couldn't get a touch, and they had, I can't remember, it was centre back. I think it was like a Rebo and Walker Pieces filling in at centre back, so not proper centre back. We played Wolves at home, obviously, in the league early in the season. Wolves set up with back three. Gomez was booked in that. When we went to Old Trafford, when Amorim was new, we went and beat them 3. I don't remember what the score was. Battered them 3-0, and all 3 centre backs for United were booked. So there's just something about the way we play. We like to. I don't know how we'll set up against Wolves, but we're quite good on the counter. We've got players like Matoma and Minto drift in, and then you've got Purvis bombing on. Pedro won't play too fair. Welbeck dropping in. So we win a lot of fouls, and we seem to win a lot of fouls from centre backs and back three. So Gomez looks the main culprit for that for a card at 5.5.
Lovely stuff. Is it County Wimbledon next then?
If that's Saturday, yeah, because the 2 Prem games I have are the Sunday.
I think it's Saturday, 8 o'clock, I think. Let me just check. Yeah, Saturday, 8 o'clock. So, I don't know. Where'd you start with this one? 2 very unhappy fan bases, 2 teams sort of out of form. Looks like a real honking game to try and call anything based on all of the above. But I expect one man to shine bright, David McGoldrick. I was surprised you can get him at over 2-1 to score anytime, 3.25 with 365. And that is the first bet, but it actually stemmed from a different bet. I was going to just take him to score from outside the box. You can get that 14-1 Sky bet, 12-1 bet 365 quarter on point. Both prices worth backing. He's got 17 goals this season from 124 shots. And it just seems, I said it on the preview show, that every time a clip of him pops up on social media, and it's just him outside the box drilling one in from range. He's got 5 of his 17 goals from range, and in a game where, as I said, none of the fan bases are happy. None of the teams are particularly playing very well. With County at home, they'll feel like they need to at least get something to take to Wimbledon, and I think they have got style quality, none brighter than McGoldrick. So I think he could be the match winner in this game. So just having a point and a quarter on him to score, a point on him to score, and a point for him to score from range. Just punts, really. Although there's no denying he's probably the player with the most quality in the division, but in terms of value from his goals, averages, and that, the prices are probably about right. But yeah, just given the County are at home, if this leg was at Wimbledon, first leg, obviously it's not. I probably wouldn't do these bets, but I just think with County being at home, they need something, and it's probably going to come from
Wimbledon will sit
McGoldrick.
back as well. Wimbledon will definitely sit deep, so there's a lot of chances for McGoldrick to hit it, I think.
From range as well, and he's definitely got that quality.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's a very nice price in a game like that, I think.
Sweet. What have you got for us?
Should I go into the early kickoff Sunday? I
thought
do
you
not.
had one for this game. No, you don't, do you?
Not a chance in hell I'm touching that game, no.
Yeah, what? So then, right, it is on to Sunday. Sorry, I made a right mess of that. What's next?
For someone to be 11s with that record, I think it's a really good price. He's up against Paqueta, who's winning 2.38 fouls per 90. So yeah, I just think 11s is far too big for a centre mid, someone like Ericsson against Paqueta. Plus, with the chance of super sub, wouldn't be surprised to see Ugarte or Casemiro come on to hold out the game. So again, big bonus that. So Ericsson card at 11s, and I've also gone Mount 2 shots on target at 6s. It's annoying. It's one I would have wanted to tip last week, but I wasn't sure where to be playing because it was 11s last week for 2 shots on target, but 6 is still a good price. It landed last week, he scored. Not much to go off sample size considering he's hardly played with his injuries, but Amrin seems to really, really like him. Played in a 10 role against Brentford, scored and had a shot on target in 57 minutes. He should start again, and he was always good for a goal and shots on target at Chelsea, and I think he's going to slowly discover that form again. So yeah, 2 shots on target at 6s for Mason Mount.
Yeah.
The other game on the Sunday is Tottenham Palace. And after last week, this is a no-brainer. Kamada card at 7s. Went off at 9.5 with Sky, so it could be higher. But I want to take 365 regardless because of super sub. Mental price, he's 1.5. It's the same as last week. I don't understand their pricing. He's 1.5 for 2 fouls. Yet 9s or 7s or 8s, I can't remember what price we got him at for a card, which makes no sense. Yeah, he's 3 yellows in his last 4 starts now, and 41 centre mids have been booked against Spurs this season. So 7s for me is a crazy price. And then I'm having half a point on the double with Davis at 41. Davis has been booked in 3 of his last 6 starts. You're up against a Palace side who like to sit back and counter, and with Mateta, Eze, and Sarr, I can see Davis getting drawn out and in a battle with one of them and bringing one down cynically. So I think they'll cause plenty of issues. So Davis and Kamada, half a point at 41s.
Yeah, lovely stuff. This is a massive price, so you just got to keep doing it until it goes. I was surprised because I know he was bigger on Sky on Monday, but he got smashed in with 365 once it was confirmed he was in the team. So I'm surprised they've gone straight back to sort of a similar price to what it was when the market's open. So long may it continue.
A Spurs team that draw, as I said, 41 centre mids have been booked against in the season.
Crackers.
It's just a ludicrous. A lot of it would have come from Maddison, who's out, but they've still got players that can hurt you in midfield. So yeah, I really, really like the price.
Me too. That's a great bet. Left in the playoffs, first legs, we've got Chesterfield, Walsall, Wycombe, Charlton. In League 2, the 5:30 game, we're not going near that, are we? You ain't got a bet for that one?
No, I looked and it was horror. I spent 2 minutes looking at it on props and everything. You know, when you're just like, I'll have another look. And like went nearer the time, but I just looked and I could just tell straight away I'm not finding anything here. The stats and everything just looked horrendous.
This one, I have got no first goal scorer as one of 3 single punts that make several bigger bets in that lack of goals in playoff first legs that I referenced earlier. Now, we went on a lot again in the outright show about Wycombe. They fall off under Dodds as being nothing short of spectacular. And their games against the top 7, I think they've played 6 off the top of my head, and they've conceded 11 and only scored 1. 3 of those results, again off the top of my head, were 1-0. So the majority of the goals came in when these two sides played against each other not long ago in the league. And again, we talked about Dodds being reactive, not proactive, and in his whole shtick since he came in at Wycombe seems to have been tightening them up defensively and playing for 0-0s, 1-0, 2-0 wins, usually coming late. That's been the theme of his tenure. And when you couple it with the playoffs' tendency to be very nervous, cagey, low-scoring affairs, even though Charlton proved that they can go over to Wickham and roll them over, they beat them 4-0 like within the last month in the league. I don't think this game's going to be quite as open, especially the type of way Jones operates. I think he'd be much happier taking a draw than risking a draw for a win. So I don't think it's going to be very open. So no first goal scorer in that game was one of 3 that I've nitpicked as a potential to have no goals. So that's 8-1 Sky Bet. Same firm back to Friday. Bristol v Sheffield United, 6-1 no goals. Even though I tipped City Peck to score 1 and 2 goals, it just seems like, you said it, Matthew, you hadn't got any bets for the game. It just looked honking, and I think it's because both sides are pretty annoying betting wise. Bristol City talked about their performance at Leeds. I think they had 2 shots, didn't have a shot until like the 80th minute. They didn't lay a glove on Leeds, and it's because Manning sets his side up differently against the big boys. Wilder, he has got the depth as squad to play a million different ways, but tactically, it's very rare that he will stick his neck on the line. We've seen it a few times, and when I say sticking his neck on the line, he's doing something really different to take the game to the opposition. I think these two are just going to butt heads, the managers, and the teams are going to cancel each other out. Off the top of my head, we've done stuff different against Burnley recently. We went 4-4-2, but all that meant was we put Kiefer Moore and Cannon up front. And as much as it was about getting direct and getting bodies around Kiefer and Moore, didn't really open the game up. So we're either going to go forward, maybe, but it'd be a surprise to see anything too out there tactically. And again, a 0-0 draw. I think Wilder definitely snatched your hand off at that. So yeah, no first goal scorer, 6-1 in that game. The last one, back to Notts County Wimbledon, again contradicting, tipped in David McGoldrick to score from outside the box. I just think you didn't have any bets from this game really either, did you, Matthew?
They're all games that Wimbledon County. I saw a couple all right priced foul, like George Abbott fouls looked all right for me, but Wimbledon to bypass the midfield. I think it's going to be Wimbledon sitting deep, playing long, and County's back 3 eating it up. Axon tactically has got the better of County earlier in the season, got it spot on. I just think it's going to be game of chess between County and Wimbledon. I think it's going to be a honking game.
The game's going to finish 0-0, and however many other playoff games, what is there, another 8, whatever, all the other first legs are going to go really close. But County is 8.5 bet Victor, so I'm having a point on each of those 3 games 0-0. So we'll get, if you look at it that way, we'll get profit if one of them does, but I think they'll all go close. Goals wise, I've talked about it. Another article on Sporting Life, Tom Carndall took a real deep dive into the playoffs' recent history in terms of stats. I've just got it up now. He's looking at both teams. He's looking at home records, league finishes, and tendency for a lack of goals across the recent playoffs. I think he's done 3 seasons. And 66% of the semi-finals see 2 or less goals, and 15, so just under 46% have seen 1 goal or fewer. And you watch these games, they always follow the same pattern: nervous, 1 goal maybe, and teams cancelling each other out, get to the second leg with something to play for. Of course there is exceptions, but I just thought these 3 games across the EFL slate stood out for me as games I just thought, I want to avoid these. Definitely going to be really, really low margin, I think. So yeah, you can combine them as a Trixie. Over 500 to 1 Sky Bet and Bet Victor. That's exactly what I've done. I've done 0.4 of a point, so 20 quid is what I've had on the Trixie, just in case. But I do think Thursday night it's going to go close. The Sheffield United game should see us go close. What have you got for Wickham Charlton?
Yeah, final bet of the pod for me. I had a beautiful bet last night that I had ready for the show. Spent ages looking at it because I was like, I just couldn't believe the prize. And it must have been a pal because it was 3.4 for 1 foul for a player. Now it's 1.25. I spent ages looking at it because I was like, this can't be right. What am I missing? So I've got another bet. Grimmer, 2 fouls at 5s. If you look at, I said it before, but I don't take too much notice in terms of a player's foul record. If it's someone like Livramento, which doesn't make any fouls, fair enough. He's prized for a reason. Someone like Grimmer, he's not shy of a foul. He makes about 1 a game, so it's not the best record, but it's not an awful record. And I mainly go with who they're playing against, and he's up against Edwards and Campbell on the left side for Charlton, who's probably the best left-hand side in the league. They draw 1.89 and 1.48 fouls per 90, and right-backs are normally in for a torrid time against, what do you call it, against Charlton. And I won't bore you with the numbers because I've got a whole list of them. But as I said, on Stats Hub, you can just check the numbers yourself for fouls drawn for Campbell and Edwards. It's easy to look at. So I won't bore you with that, but just Grimmer 2 fouls at fires, considering he's not got a bad record. He should be right back against these two as opposed to right centre back. And yeah, these two just win fouls for fun. So yeah, 2 fouls at fives for me for Grimmer. I was tempted with the card, but 4.75 is a bit short considering you get 2 fouls at fives, which I think's a better bet.
Keep punting! Keep fucking punting! YTP, baby!
Right, long shots. We've got Matthew's got 1. I've got 3, 4 if you include the no goal scored Trixie. I've also done a real daft lucky 63 no goals in any of the Championship, League 1, League 2 playoff semi-final first legs. It's ridiculous. I don't know why I've done it, but I've only had like 0.1 of a point on it, over 2,500 to 1. I've also done an under 2.5 goals Aka. That's at 17.1 with 365. I've had 0.2 points on that. Again, very muggy, very muggy. The bet I really, really like is the under 1.5 Heinz 57. So a combination of 57 bets. I've had 0.25 points on that across the whole lot. That's best price with Betfair. Paddy Power, so it's just under 567 to 1. Just real going for this lack of goals. The only thing I didn't say is there is the odd exception, like Stockport, Leyton Orient, where they're all from League One really. Stockport, Leyton Orient, Charlton, and Chesterfield. I think I'd say 4 of the 12 teams that are coming into this playoffs in good form. That means 2/3 are sort of laboured into the playoffs, and I just think more so than usual, it's just going to lean to a lack of goals across the whole slate. I've just done some daft combinations. Just in case. The under 2.5s is an Aka. There's definitely better ways to play it, but to be honest, I didn't want to get lost in the weeds putting a lot of points on under 2.5 goals because I could just see 1 or 2 letting it down, but I just didn't know which one it was going to be, so I just thought smaller stake, Aka on the nose. The under 1.5 one's the one I'm really excited about because I could easily see a few running that close. So I've done those just in case. You've got a card Yankee for us.
Yeah, so I can't remember the price, but you've got to note it down somewhere. I won't say the reasons, I've already said them, but Fulham Everton, better card at 8.5. Ericsson to be booked in United West Ham at 11s. Kamada to be booked at Tottenham Palace at 7s. Totti Gomez to be booked at Wolves Brighton at 5.5. Doing that as a Yankee, 1.1 point on total. Yeah, because there's no point back in the lucky 15s, they've already got the single. So yeah, Yankee is 1.1 points total at about 3,000-ish on it.
99.75.
Yep, wins easily.
Does not lose. Right, I think that is everything. Can you just recap your bets before you go?
Yep, so Fulham Everton, I've gone Bassi 2 fouls at 5, Beto card at 8.5 and half a point on Beto Bassi 34s. Wolves Brighton, Gomez card, that's Totti Gomez, not the other million Gomez they have, at 5.5. United West Ham, Ericsson card at 11s and Mount 2 shots on target at 6s. Tottenham Palace, Marder to be booked at 7s with Betfree's 5 and half a point on Kamada and Davis double at 41s. Then on to the playoffs. Coventry, Sunderland, Sims 2 fouls at 6s. Van Ewijik, whatever he's called, 3 tackles, 2 fouls at 5s. Orient Stockport, Beckles 2 fouls at 3.5 and Wootton and Beckles 2 fouls each at 6s. And Wickham Charlton, Grimmer 2 fouls at 5s.
Lovely stuff. Tonight, Thursday, Championship, Bristol City play Sheffield United. I've done Peck anytime, Peck brace. The anytime is 11 to 1 with Sky Bet, and the brace is 2 and 1 with Betfair and Paddy Power. I've had half a point on Peck anytime, 0.1 of a point on the brace. Leyton Orient play Stockport Saturday, 12:30 in League One. I've done Stockport to win from behind, 18 to 1 Bet Victor, half a point on that evening. So Saturday, 8 o'clock, Notts County play Wimbledon, McGoldrick anytime at 9 to 4, point on that with 365, and then McGoldrick outside the box, 14 to 1, quarter of a point on that. And then I've done my 3 favourite no first goal scorer games. I think Bristol is Sheffield United should run it close. That's 6 to 1, point on that Sky Bet. Wickham Charlton on Sunday afternoon, 4:30. I think that kicks off. That's at 8 to 1 Sky Bet, point on that. Notts County, Wimbledon. No first goal scorer as well. Bet Victor, that's at 8.5 a point, and that was 365. I've also done a point on, not a point, sorry, 0.4 of a point on the Trixie, so that's Sheffield United, Charlton, and Notts County's game. To have no goals, and then long shots. We've got a few. So we've done Mattis, Kamada, Ericsson, Totti Gomez, and Beto as a Yankee, 365, 1,599.75 to 1, 1.1 of a point combinations. I think there's 11 in total. I've done a under 2.5 playoff Aka, very silly, 17.1 with 365, 0.2 points on that, under 1.5 goals. Same games. That's a Heinz 57, just over 575 to 1 with Betfair, quarter of a point total on that. And then a real silly lucky 63. No first goal scorers, same playoff game. First leg, Sky Bet, it's over 2,500 to 1. I've had 0.1 of a point on that, just in case. Right, that is everything. There is second legs kick off on Monday. We'll see. We might be back for them. We'll see what we're like for time. But thank you, Matthew, for this show.
Pleasure as always, mate.
Pleasure as always, and good luck with all your bets for the Premier League and EFL playoff action. We might be back Monday, if not next week. Catch you later.